is going to help you determine significant figures in numbers. The first thing that you're going to want to do is go up to your number and bracket all the non-zero numbers. So I'm going to bracket the 4 and the 5 and the 7. There's 2 zeros that go along with that. We're going to call those middle numbers. What you're going to find out is that the numbers in front, they're called leading zeros, are never significant figures. So we would never count those. The middle ones are always significant figures, so we'll count all the numbers in the middle. Trailing zeros are only significant figures if there's a decimal point that shows up anywhere in the number. It doesn't matter where it shows up, it just needs to show up. So I would count the trailing zeros in this problem. So for this problem, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the middle plus 2 at the end, so 7 significant figures. If there is not a decimal point in the number, those trailing zeros don't count. The trailing zeros only count if there's a decimal point anywhere in the number. So let's try some problems. Let's try this first one. I'm first going to bracket all the numbers that are not 0. The leading zeros never count. The middle ones will count. Because there's a decimal point in this number, we will count the trailing zero. So in this instance, we have 4 significant figures. In our next example, we're going to bracket the numbers. There's no leading zeros. The middle numbers are always counted. Once again, there's a decimal point in this number, so I am going to count those trailing zeros. So in this case, 5 significant figures. Very similar in the next one. This is just to show you that it does not matter where the decimal point is in the number. If there's a decimal point that shows up, those trailing zeros count. So once again, 5 sig figs. Now let's try a number that doesn't have a decimal point. I'm going to go ahead and bracket those numbers. There's no leading zeros, but if you look throughout the number, there is no trailing zeros, or there is no decimal point. So I am not going to count those trailing zeros. So in this case, I have only 3 significant figures. When you have scientific notation numbers, they're really very easy. The scientific notation numbers, anything to the left of the times 10 is going to be counted. So in this instance, we have 4 sig figs. Okay? So in scientific notation numbers, just count everything in front of the times 10. Sometimes you get instances where you don't have measurements and you're actually counting things, like 3 trials. In that case, because you have exactly 3 trials, we say that there's an infinite number of significant figures. This means that you really don't have to consider exact numbers when you're determining significant figures in calculations. Hopefully that helps. Look through that a couple of times. Take the quiz at the end, and we'll see you in class soon.